I'm wearing a shirt today that says heavily meditated because, well, today I am. Hey you guys, it's Christina and I am so grateful to be here with you today. I wanted to make a video to talk about my emotions and my sadness and my concern via all of the recent suicides that have taken place this past week. Now, I know my channel is geared towards health and wellness, and most people may associate that with just food, but it's really much more than that. It's body, mind, and spirit, and mental health is such an important part of our lives. And I say mental health because yes, it is possible to be mentally healthy as well. I'm sure most of you have heard about the suicide of Kate Spade and now Anthony Bourdain that happened yesterday. It really shows you that you really don't know what the other person is going through unless you're walking through their shoes, which is why they say be kind. Everyone you know is fighting a battle you may know nothing about. I want to talk about the disconnect that happens between us humans and the lives that we want to live. Our connection with nature and food and family, all these beautiful things that bring us joy, peace, and love, that bring us connection. Taking your own life is an extreme act of violence against yourself. And when we're in dark moments of despair, yes, it may seem like an option and it may seem like the easier thing to do, but it's actually the worst, most awful thing you could do to take away the gift of your life when there is actually so much to be grateful for. Learning how to take 100% responsibility for our lives, our choices, and our circumstances is actually a very empowering thing because it means that we then have the ability to pull ourselves up and out even when we feel hopeless, and to then practice tiny steps of gratitude to move forward. Is there blame to be shared or to be had? Of course, maybe. But where does it put us to put blame on something else or on someone else? Puts us in a place of powerlessness. Or maybe you feel trapped and you can't get your way out. Taking responsibility in that moment can save you. I have this theory. It could be wrong, it could be right, I don't know, it's just a theory. That the society we live in now, whoever is in power, the things that are becoming more popular, the systems that are in place, all of it, the society we live in now, all of that, is making it more and more difficult for us to feel connected with our source. I'm gonna say that again in a different way because it's a really deep thought. The society that we live in now is fostering disconnect in every possible way. The society that we live in now is fostering every possible type of disconnect. Now, what does this mean on a deeper level? It means that it's becoming even more impossible for us to have meaningful connections. Having a connection with someone, something, a passion, with yourself, with your food, with nature, anything, creates a sense of purpose and meaning in our lives, and peace and love, an inner sense of stability. Having a sense of disconnect over a period of time can create a further sense of despair or hopelessness, helplessness. Maybe none of this is making any sense to you. They're just my thoughts on this, is that what we humans really need right now is connection, is love. Not just with other people, but with ourselves, with nature, with our purpose, with our divine meaning. If you're feeling very lost right now and in a very sad place, I ask you to dive deep. Be courageous and be vulnerable with yourself as to what's wrong, because when you feel it, you free it. And yes, there's always a solution to be able to move forward and to take the time to heal into these things. I know it sucks. Trust me, I know it sucks sometimes because maybe perhaps you don't see a way out. If you have no one to talk to about these things, perhaps start with taking care of yourself first. Start doing the things that bring you joy or the things that you love to do. Nourish yourself with nature's foods, not processed foods, not chemicals. But start to feed yourself fruits and vegetables, nature's bounty, and begin to take care of yourself in that way, because when your body is nourished, when your physical self is nourished, your mind and your spirit are also nourished. This can elevate your spirits. I know it sounds crazy for many of you. Oh, food doesn't affect my mental state. It absolutely can. If you're consuming processed junk foods all day, there are additives and chemicals in there that are designed to make you feel depressed. First, start with what you're consuming. Consuming food-wise and also media-wise. Start inspiring yourself with things that are going to keep you encouraged and motivated. Spend time in nature. Get out in the green. Put your feet in the grass. Lay out in the sun. Soak up vitamin D. Begin to feel some kind of a connection with our planet Earth, our Mother Earth, with your source, with all of the life around you. Get connected with that in any way that you possibly can. Maybe you need to take a trip by yourself to spend a few weeks alone. Maybe perhaps you could pray. Begin counting your blessings on the daily, even if it means that you just have water to drink, a roof over your head, anything. Count your blessings. Your heart is beating. That's something to be grateful for. Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain were two beautifully successful humans who inspired and encouraged so many people to live the life of their dreams. I know I was very inspired by Anthony Bourdain. Yes, we may have different food beliefs, but I loved his adventurous spirit and how he would travel the world and celebrate different cultures and try different foods and make recipes with different foods. Yes, I'm a fully raw vegan, but I still loved his passion behind this, and I used to watch him and admire him for this. I know so many girls as well loved Kate Spade, would save up for months just to be able to buy one of her handbags. Imagine that. So it's important to ask ourselves, at what point did these humans feel so disconnected and so broken that they had to take their own lives? Both of these humans hung themselves. They hung themselves. That's not the easiest way to go. That's one of the most painful ways to go. If you think about it, each one of us inflicts some kind of a pain on ourselves throughout our lifetime. And maybe it's a smaller form of pain. Maybe it's that we self-sabotage with food, or God forbid have an eating disorder, or practice some act of violence on ourselves or another human, or we're mean to somebody, we're mean to ourselves, we criticize ourselves in our mind. There are so many different kinds of self-sabotage, and maybe not all of them result in suicide, but they're still painful and they still hurt. And that hurts inside when we do that, because inside we really just want to be loved and want to be cared for. And sometimes it's so hard just to do that because we don't feel accepted, or we're too critical with ourselves, or maybe perhaps we're never good enough in our minds. In our minds we're never good enough, but in reality we are perfectly and wonderfully made. They say suicide rates are up 25% now in the past decade. It's a big number. A lot of people are so disconnected that it's easier for them to just check out than to sit here and to do the work and to ask what is going on in our world right now that is creating so much sadness and despair. There are absolutely ways to fix this. We can do this, and we can work together to make this world a better place while achieving this. You're not alone. You are absolutely not alone. I'm here with you. Last year was the absolute worst year of my life. I lost my co-op, which was my life for 11 years. It was my life for 11 years, and it was with me one minute and all of a sudden it wasn't, and I had to learn to deal with that shame and humiliation, the loss, the fear of not knowing what was coming next in my life, and having something taken away from me when I had absolutely no control over it. I went through, none of you know this, but I'm sharing this because I feel that it can be important now. I went through a very dark time, being very depressed for a good 6-month time period, maybe even a year, where I did nothing but sob my eyes out. When I was in Bali for 4 months or whatever that time period it was, I went because I needed to heal. I couldn't even cope being in Houston with the loss that I had experienced. Now, not everybody will understand that. Not everybody will get that, and that's okay. It was my journey, my story. I was also dealing with the loss of friends, betrayal, people taking advantage of me, and then leaving me in a huge amount of debt, death, and so much more. All of this was so much at once. It was just trauma after trauma after trauma. I would be lying to you if I said that it didn't cross my mind that taking my life would have been the easier option at the time. But I didn't, because I understood that my self-love and my purpose here is much bigger than that. And we as humans have much more to do on this planet to make this world a better place, and that gave me hope. That gave me hope as well. And what really got me through this difficult time was taking care of my body, because no matter how scary my mind got, I knew that I was still providing nourishment and love to myself through my food, and that connection was keeping me grounded, as grounded as I could have been in that moment in time. I really do believe that that's what saved me. In addition, with my family being there for me. There were times where I felt like my family couldn't be fully there for me, or they didn't understand, or nothing that they said was good enough, but I knew that nobody else could be responsible for my well-being, my joy, my happiness, and my life but me. And that's where I began to really feel empowered. I heard a quote the other day that said, "Healing isn't something you can force. It's something that happens when you learn how to move forward by doing the things that bring you joy. And in time, the healing naturally occurs." That's hard. It's hard to be that patient. But it's possible. And it happens, and we become stronger, better people. I know that there are so many different kinds of suicide numbers that you can call right now to get support. And maybe perhaps if you're watching this and you're fearful of that, you're thinking, well, I don't know these people. Why would they possibly be able to talk me out of such a crime? If that's not something for you, and if there's nobody else available for you to talk to, I ask you to be brave and reconnect with you right here. Reconnect with yourself in whatever way you possibly can. Get out in nature, climb a tree, hug a tree, spend time in the sun, soak up the vitamin D, watch animals, put your feet in the grass, look at the green, moving in the wind, some kind of a connection. From there, change your diet, create an environment around you where you feel that you are being fostered with love. That includes family and friend members, community members. Surround yourself with the people that you feel the safest around and that you feel the most connected to. And last but not least, connect to your divine source. Your heart beats for you every single day. And if you're ever questioning, am I worthy enough? Why am I here? What's my purpose? Just remember, your heart is beating unconditionally for you every single second, and it's keeping you alive with ever you having to ask it. That is unconditional love. Can you love yourself the same way? Can you? Learn to take responsibility for your life and know that joy is yours if you choose to have it. It's not always easy. Nobody said it was. Good things are often the most difficult to come by, but they're worth it. And think about all of the people you could inspire and help with your story if you can make it through a difficult moment. Other people need you just as much as you need you too. Meditate, do yoga, get in physical exercise, activities, anything that connects you back to yourself, your source, your community. I attended Date with Destiny in February, Tony Robbins' event, and he spent an entire period of time discussing suicide. And he says that one of the main reasons why people decide to commit suicide is because they feel a loss of connection in their lives. And what they really desire is connection, is love with other people and with themselves, while also still having purpose and meaning. When we feel a loss of purpose or meaning in our life, that's when things get to be quite scary. So this is when I'll remind you that you have purpose and meaning. And if you're questioning whatever that is, to ask yourself what you like to do and then to move forward with that. We all have purpose and meaning, all of us. It's scary to think that more people now than ever are considering taking their lives. It is a very scary thought, but it's also a wake-up call for all of us to be able to reach out to people in our lives, our friends, families, even the people that we think have the most perfect lives. Reach out to them and just offer support and love. No matter what, we are all in this together because we all walk on this earth together. We all have impact, every single one of us. I want to thank all of you for being here with me today, for sharing this connection. Even if it is through a screen, you're here with me and I'm connecting with you, and I want to say thank you and that I'm so grateful for you. Many of you I don't even know, but you've gotten me through some really difficult times just by showing your support, and for that I'm grateful. You could save somebody's life just by reconnecting with them after a period of time, or talking with them, or being there for them. Heck, you can even help somebody just by showing them what's possible, by living your best life and by saying, hey, you know what, I'm happy and healthy. You can have this too. Let me be here for you. To live is an inspiration. So yes, there is a sadness right now that so many people are taking their lives, but perhaps we can turn this around and turn it into a joy and a movement towards creating healthier, happier lives, physically, mentally, and spiritually. May we all see this as a growth opportunity to become happier humans. I'd love to hear your thoughts below. Feel free to share whatever you'd like to share, whether you are feeling sadness about this as well, you'd like to offer encouragement or support, or maybe you're going through a rough time and you need encouragement or support, comment below. Thank you. I'm going to close this video off with the Ho'oponopono prayer. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. You're not alone.